How are you, my friend?
Thanks for waiting for me. Thanks for bailing me out. Appreciate it.
You owe me a lot of money.
That's okay. I'll pay you off in increments of little bits.
Just buy the beers.
Yeah, can do that. Yeah.
We're back at home, back in Cape Town. Good to be back. Sad to be back as well. I feel like Cape Town is very similar to the West Coast. It has the same, very similar scenery, same coastline.
Look and feel.
Look and
One would
feel,
say.
yeah. If you had to put it into marketing terms.
Yeah.
Very similar brand CI on both coasts, actually.
I would also say similar UX. Yeah.
It's
going too deep. Yeah.
Going too far. Cool. So we are going to talk today a little bit about the recession and marketing in a recession. Do we call it a potential recession or are we in a recession?
I think we're in, but no one wants to say we're in.
No one wants to
the
say
bold want to say yes, the scared don't.
I mean, let's be honest, right?
We're in a recession.
The recession is happening. It's being televised. If you think about the fact that CREview, they've cut
laid off
jobs, all the big tech platforms have cut jobs or in hiring freezes. The recession's real, it's happening.
Yeah. Look at the tallest trees. Look at Elon Musk. I mean, it's obviously it's a little bit different, but I mean, the layoffs are everywhere.
Yeah. So it's happening. It's sad. It's life.
Yeah. If people are losing their jobs, marketing is something where people are now going to start quivering.
Yeah. So we're going to talk today a little bit about marketing in a recession and what that means for you as a company, a brand, brokerage, broker. It's tough out there, super tough for brokers at the moment. We understand. And the hardest thing to kind of say to yourself is that we still need to do marketing. And the reason that we still need to do marketing is because you still need to be visible to your audience.
Look, he's all eaten away.
Yeah.
Even though marketing normally gets cut first because sales, you can't cut sales necessarily. You can't cut production. You know, you can't stop trying to release.
Shut it down.
So marketing is like, hey, do you need marketing? And everyone's like, no,
so it's one thing to be like, okay, marketing needs to continue. It's a recession. It's cool. Marketing needs to continue. But how will that happen in a way that will help you in this recession? How can you market yourself in a recession to either get you through it, survive it, or come off ahead of your competitors?
The first thing, we've been doing a lot of strategies lately around 2023, and we obviously don't know how long the recession is going to last for, but we've got to go in with plans for tough economic times. I'm sick of saying recession.
Yeah.
But the markets are bleep that out, sorry.
That's like
nothing's really in a good place. There are a couple of little industries that are doing okay, but everything is not good. Inflation's through the roof, interest rates are nuts. It's just not a good environment for anyone. And you need to keep going as a company, and you've got to make some tough decisions next year. So we've had a lot of questions from our clients. What are we doing next year? How do we deal with all this shit? You know, blah, blah, blah. And we are marketers. So I'm not going to be like, cut marketing, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
but even if you weren't a marketer, how would you?
So the reason
if you were to remove yourself,
the big reason that I'm saying you can't cut marketing is because if you cut marketing, you're going to lose your market share that you've built up and grown over the last however long. And I've said this in a few of my sort of personal videos on my other networks, and you can't afford to lose market share during a recession just because you need to cut some budgets, whatever those budgets are.
It's almost like giving in and be like, I lost.
I know, it's like you've worked so hard to do all of this stuff and just like, okay, we'll just go silent. We'll just go quiet for however long this lasts.
We'll start again next year and build our way up again.
And you can't do that. And the biggest reason you don't want to do that is because your competitors are going to steal your market share. If they keep marketing and you don't, you are going to come out of this in a way worse position than you were to go into it.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably are at the end of the day anyway, but from a marketing point of view, you're going to be so far behind. Whereas if you look at it from the other point of view, look at it from the other angle, potentially your competitors are going to maybe cut their marketing budgets.
Yeah.
That is an opportunity for you to be like, shit, we can actually steal some of that market share during this time by being visual and visible to our target audience.
Yeah.
Because if we're the only or one of the only few companies that are being seen during this time, when the tough economic time ends and everyone comes out of it and that audience has got its buying power back, you're going to be the company that they saw through, that you're going to be top of mind. In marketing, when you're top of mind, you make sales.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how it works. It makes a few other things. But that's the mindset that you want to go into a difficult period with.
Yeah. I almost feel like this whole recession, there's been tortoises and there's been hares. That little story of the tortoise and the hare has now, obviously, like you got your hares, you got your tortoises, you know who you are in the game. And the recession has now all of a sudden made everyone tortoises, except certain tortoises have longer legs than the others.
Okay.
And some can walk a little bit faster. We're all just trying to make it through and get to the finish line. But some are getting ahead of the others. And
It's beautiful.
I feel like if your marketing is refined and still continuous throughout the recession,
You're going to be the tortoise with the longer legs.
you got the longer legs.
You're going to have the longer legs. And
Yeah.
you're going to get to that piece of lettuce before everyone else. I
For
love
sure.
it. Absolutely.
We all want the lettuce. That's what it's about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I know it sounds easy for us to say this, and there may come a time in the next few weeks, few months, where your C-suite is going to come to you and say, guys, sorry, I know you had X amount for marketing last year, but now you've got 50% of that.
A couple things I'd like to go over in the budget.
Do we have anything on the budget today?
No, I don't think so.
So if that happens, what the hell do you do?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? We got half a marketing budget, but knowing C-suite, they still want the same results.
Yeah.
Make it,
Out of
just
nothing.
make it better.
Yeah.
And get the same amount.
Get us through this time
Yeah.
with this.
With less stuff.
Yeah.
Which you can potentially do. And I'll tell you how to do that. So what you want to do if that happens is you want to look at your analytics and your metrics over the past 12 months. Look at everything that you've done, every campaign that you've done, every channel that you've been doing any content on, whatever you've done, and you need to go in and you need to analyze all of those channels and all of those activities. And you need to see what has brought in the most leads and what has done the best for you over the last 12 months. Because then you can say, okay, cool. As an example, if you get a lot of leasing leads through Facebook advertising, and that is bringing in a majority of your return on your marketing spend, then that is not a channel that you are going to want to necessarily cut.
Yeah, you want to keep him.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right? But thinking even on that, are you going to be making as many sales? Let's say, are you going to be leasing as many units? Are you going to be doing as well as you were pre-recession? No, you aren't. So you don't necessarily want to have that full budget in for those leads because that is going to shrink anyway. So you may be wasting some money, but maybe you actually want to increase your brand awareness a little bit more. So because you want to be visible to that audience, they're not necessarily going to be looking for new spaces right now. If you're thinking about, certain franchises that are kind of battening down the hatches and not opening new stores, not moving into new centers, if you're a REIT, whatever the case is.
Everyone's like hunkered down.
Everyone's
trying
hunkered down.
Trying to
right?
make it through.
So they're not necessarily in a buying mood and a place to actually be buying. They don't have the power to do that. So by you creating lead generation advertising, you're kind of missing the point.
Yeah.
So even though that may have been your best channel, it's not necessarily going to continue being that best channel. What you want to think about is more brand awareness during this time. I'm not saying that no one's going to be doing that. You need to test this and you need to optimize as you go. But brand awareness is going to cost you less. Brand awareness always costs less, especially from a digital advertising point of view.
Always important.
And what you want to do is you want to reiterate the great things about your company and what you do for your customers, your clients, your tenants, whoever that target audience is. You want to reiterate those things that you do for them during this time. And brand awareness costs less as well. So if you're visible and you keep doing that throughout this period, when everyone comes out of it, you're going to be top of mind. Okay, so if you need to cut those budgets, think about, okay, actually we can remove the whole of LinkedIn because it actually only brings in a certain amount of leads for us and it's pretty expensive. Let's get rid of LinkedIn. Let's get rid of, maybe Facebook doesn't work, maybe Twitter, you're running ads on Twitter or whatever. And then say, okay, cool, actually we need to run some Google display ads. It's going to be cheaper as well. We're going to reach a ton of people. So we remove the budget from here, we put it into that and we can cut in other little places. So being strategic about your activities, what content you're putting out and what channels you're using based on what you've seen over the last year. And the fact that your audience is not necessarily going to be in a buying
mentality
and space. There are always ways to increase market share during tough economic times. This has been proven. There are Harvard reviews on this stuff. When things are really, really difficult, it often means that the market is in a place for you to take advantage of it because it's only going to get stronger.
I'm going to stop you there. Sorry. Just with like gas prices are super high. The next thing you are considering an electric vehicle, you're looking at Tesla being like, am I silly not to drive one of those? And that probably came in, I might be wrong, but that probably came in when times were a little bit tough. Tesla, it was probably first introduced when
it was brought in literally just because of the environment, trying to protect the earth.
They did that wrong. They should have done it at a time when it was hard. Always when there's tough times, new opportunities arise. So
that's true.
That still applies to commercial real estate, to brokers, to tech companies. The recession's all bad, but it's also,
I mean, it's going to be difficult. It's not beat around the bush. It's going to be tough, but they don't last forever. So there is going to be a time when everyone comes out of this and you need to ask yourself, is being invisible during that time going to do any good? And we really, really don't think that. I mean, there's more science than just our opinions on this. But you want to be visible during the times when your competitors might not be as visible because you have an opportunity. So
it's a time to be smart. It's a time to take less risk and be strategic.
You need to be strategic about what marketing you're doing, where you're doing it, the types of budgets you're using, how much content you're producing, the types of content, what you're saying. There's a lot that will go into it. But if you can take anything out of this video on marketing a recession, is that you don't want to go quiet during these times because you're going to lose market share to your competitors. That is just really, really bad for marketing.
Don't go dark.
Going dark.
Don't go dark. Zero dark 30.
Zero dark 30.
Don't do it.
Solid.
Just try and still be visible from a marketing point of view. And you'll come out of it and people will still remember who you are and they will come back to you and everything will be fine in the end. That's our story.
And we'll live happily ever after.
That's our fairy tales end. Last on the fairy tale, I guess.
The fairy tales always have a bit of a recession involved.
A bit of a tough time.
But
there's always a tough time during a fairy tale. And
the princess kisses the frog and they're all happy. So.
And there's always a bad guy, an evil guy who nearly threatens to wipe out the whole place.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. We will see you next week with hopefully a really cool one.
Well, we're going to get a ticket on our desk. We're hoping to be aiming at Arizona.
What?
Arizona.
We're going again.
Someone said they're starting up the hot tub.
Oh.
Maybe. Let's see what happens.
Maybe Arizona's on the card. But maybe just for one night.
Maybe for one night.
One night in Arizona.
One good night in Arizona,
That could be interesting. Let's see what happens.
We'll see. Find out in the next episode.
It's going to be wet.
And hot. It's going to get real hot.
Oh, Jesus. I'm out.